Okay, we're good.
Okay, I'll start. Hello, everybody. My name is Genesis, and today Kristen and I are excited to lead a discussion about this week's readings and how they connect to our project. We're going to explore key takeaways from the readings, the Horizon reports, and the additional readings that we had. We will also think about how we can apply these insights into our current and future projects. Kristen, would you like to start by sharing your initial thoughts on the standards?
Yeah, so I'm a teacher. I'm a fifth grade math teacher, and the standards kind of remind me of my like our TEKS, the things that we teach the students, and how they're kind of like learning objectives, in my opinion. So that's what I noticed about the standards, and a lot of them connect to like what I have to teach my students as well when it comes using technology as well. So
Mhm. Thank you for sharing. I think it's really cool how you have a different perspective because of your career path than I did. And I think that's what makes these standards amazing because you can apply them in different ways. So, yeah, thank you for sharing. I did want to say that what stood out to me about the Learning Catalyst standards was how they talked about how important it is to encourage creativity, collaboration, and ownership of learning goals, which I think it's something that you could probably relate to as a teacher.
yes.
How do you think creativity plays into a project that we have?
I mean, it gets us out of our comfort zone, in my opinion. Like, in order to be creative, you kind of have to like step out of what you feel comfortable in. And a lot of times that's hard for people. Like, as a teacher, that's hard for me a lot of the times with my students. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I also thought about how the non-instructor standards emphasize effective research and real world applications. And I think as a graduate student, I've learned the importance of like evaluating credible sources, and this made me reflect on how I can use those skills to solve practical problems. Have you ever had any experiences where research skills helped you tackle a challenge as a teacher?
Yes. I've had during my internship, I had a student who came from Cuba and she didn't speak any English. So I had to kind of like with the help of my mentor teacher,
Mm.
kind of like guide her and scaffold for her. Like we were doing a sort, and I figured out the name in Spanish for some of the things, and I wrote it down for her so she could sort it. And she did. She sorted it just fine. So I think in order to do that, you have to kind of like figure out, do some research on how that works, like
Yeah.
um, how to help ESL students or ELL students, what we call them now, English language learners.
Oh, that's a good point. I wasn't aware of that they changed their name.
They
I like
change it
that.
all the time. And I honestly,
Really?
I think it's EL learners, English learners, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, they changed it again.
it must be tough to keep up, but I
Yes.
like that you can apply what you learn regardless of what they call it. So yeah, that's a good example. Thank you. So I think the last ISTE standards that we have to talk about are were the computational thinker standards, which focus on problem solving using technology like data analysis. Um, I haven't really done much work for this class with data analysis, but I've used it for my past graduate projects and research projects, and I can see how tools like that can help us create different solutions, looking at different data to see what works. Have you ever used something like that in your as a teacher?
Yeah, we do that all the time when we're looking at the students' data. We do that often, just using data from previous years to now and see where they're going to track for their STAR tests. We do that a lot.
Oh yeah, I remember being a student, being a student and taking the STAR test. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love perspective on that. So yeah, I think I don't know if you had any thoughts about the Horizon reports. I know for me, when I first looked at them, I was a little bit overwhelmed because there's a lot of different ones,
There-
and a lot of information. So I saw how useful, but I did understand how useful they are for understanding trends and technologies that shape education and digital engagement. As a teacher, how do you incorporate technology?
It can be difficult. I'm a math teacher, and even just like in general, especially in the fifth grade level, it's more a lot of paper and pencil
Yeah.
because we're still learning a lot of the basic foundations for math reading, any of that. So it can be hard. A lot of times we use what the district gives us and we
Mm,
incorporate that into our technology, like that we can do Jamboards on something called iExcel, which is they
mm.
like. You can do Bookits, they like. So integrating that kind of stuff into their learning helps.
Wow, that's some different tools from when I used to be in elementary school.
Yes.
But know that it's evolving. Did you have any other thoughts on the Horizon reports?
I mean, I do agree with you. Like there was a lot of information, but I do like how each report is a format, certain format. So you're gonna see that format each time for that certain report for each year. That was really great. And then I did notice there was an AI report that I really liked about using it to plan for teaching, like your lessons. You can use it for planning. You can use it for testing as well. And so that's kind of neat. That might actually help because it's a lot of work to
I'm
plan.
glad I'm glad you found something that would help you out in
Yeah.
your career at the moment. But yeah, those were great insights. Thank you for sharing. I don't know if you had any final thoughts or takeaways you'd like to share, but if not, we can wrap it up.
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Sure. Well, it was a great discussion. I think we identify practical ways that we could use the knowledge that we're learning, and we can even use that to apply to our future projects here.
Yep.